What's up guys, and welcome back to another video on the channel. The Eden season is over, and in today's video we're gonna be discussing all the details about it, how it started, how it went, and of course how it ended. So stick around for a lot of details that may help you out in your next Eden season. Before we get along with this one, I'm probably gonna be having a lot of strong opinions in this one, so just to clarify things, this is my opinion. So whatever I say, it doesn't represent my alliance Invictus, it doesn't represent my state 119, it's just me, it's my opinion. And with that said, let's hit the intro and begin. Okay, so there's almost a month left till the season is actually over, and our guild surrendered. Jesus Christ, they actually surrendered. And today we're gonna be talking about that. We're gonna be talking how we got to this point, why they surrendered, was it a good idea, and all that stuff. But before we get on with it, I do have some good news. I finally officially released my Callisto's Roy Guide merch. And if you do want to support my channel, if you enjoy the work I do, if you find my videos helpful, then you can support me by purchasing one of the items in my shop. And the best part about it, you're not just giving money for the channel, but you're also getting something cool in return. I did put my personal print in everything. I think there's something for everybody. There's something that you can relate to if you are a Rise of Empires players. So if you have any extras ideas for the shop, let me know in the comment section, and please go and check out the merch and see if you can find something you enjoy. And with that said, let's get back to our subject. So when we first started the season, Invictus Alliance, which is my one, started in the center area. That obviously means that we need to merge with somebody on the left or right. In this case, we chose Vix Alliance from 1 to 7, as that was the most powerful alliance we had a choice from. And because they were on the right side of the south, we were the ones joining their guild. This is pretty much the basic strategy of Eden. If you are in the center, you need to go to the sides. There's nothing for you to gain from going from the center area, so you need to either be on the left side or the right. Why and which one depends on each map, if you want to encounter the stronger guild from the enemy or if you want to avoid it, in which side you want to choose to. In this case, we merged with Vix on the right side, and this is pretty much from where we advance further. Now, when it comes to Vix Alliance, I can say they have a lot of strong castles, as expected from 1 to 7, being a super state, being a very strong state. But we're gonna talk a bit later about how important or not strong castles are. As for the enemy, we had a pretty strong enemy side in the north. We had the 76 there, we had 43, 46, one of two, we had 37. It was a very strong side actually, and it was expected from the beginning that it's not gonna be an easy Eden. But that usually for us is something exciting, because nobody in Invictus likes a boring Eden match. It's not about winning or losing. Obviously everybody wants to win, but if you're not having fun, then why are you playing this game to begin with, right? So having a strong enemy means you're actually trying to win, and if you do win, then it's so much more worth it than if they just, I don't know, surrender 30 days before the Eden finishes, and yeah, you don't really get to do much. But from my experience from throughout the season, I can say that XK Guild deserves all the respect. This is what I like to see in a guild. It's not about the strong castles, it's not about the troop power, it's about how you manage everything. Objectives will come and go, because any non-ignorant person would know that the objective taking most of the time is just a luck matter. You can have your entire guild there and they could have 4 castles and still take away the gate from you, and there's nothing you can do about it. Obviously, the strategic point is to do everything in your power to always raise the chances on your side. But besides that is also the how active you are, how good you position yourself on the map. And when it comes to XK, again, all the respect, they weren't just strong, they didn't just have the true power, but they also put it to good use. They were very active on the map. They were always reacting to everything we did on the map. So by no means this season was an easy season or something easy winnable. It was a very hard season, and it could have definitely gone that they would have won no matter what we would have done later in the season. But still, it wasn't lost. So let's go back to our side. After the merge, as I said, we were on the right side of the map, and we continued. We had a pretty decent start of where the sides start clashing for the first time. Left side of the map was a bit the underdog by us, because Tar was again a very strong guild. This is the problem. The sides, as per usual, weren't really balanced. The north did have more power than us, more strong castles than the south. So even though we did our best on our side, the south side kinda lost. Tar did push their advantage really good. Again, respect if you do that. So we kind of lost that side. As for our side, we tried to push as much as we could. Again, XK did put up a big fight, but objectives wise we were pretty okay. The main issue by us was the guild leadership. And I'm not gonna start pointing fingers of who it was, if it was this alliance or if it was that alliance. Let's just say the leadership. What exactly happened in the leadership, I don't have that many details to actually say it, but there was a leadership issue. It was a lot in the way the decisions were made. It was a lot in how the markers on the map were functioning, and how the objectives were split into on the map. My biggest issue, something that I already pointed out in my Eden Guide series, is when leadership does not prioritize things on the map. You're always gonna have a lot to do, especially if you are the main guild. You're always gonna have 3 to 4 things at reset happening in the same time, and you don't have enough castles to deal with everything. So at this point you need to prioritize. If you, the leaders, do not prioritize those things, then don't expect the players to do it. Like, just don't. I'm sick of seeing leaders keep saying, oh, there wasn't enough active castles, they didn't do what I told them to do, nobody listened to me. No, you didn't prioritize things. If your job as a leader is to make everything in your power possible for your players to be and to do what you tell them to. If they don't listen or if they don't care, then you have 2 options. Either you need to change your strategy of how you do things, or you step down, because maybe you're just not meant for it, or at least for that group you're just not meant for it. And to skip all the details of the entire season, let's just go straight to the last events before our guild decided to surrender the season. We had these 3 objectives at reset, and this is a perfect example of why I'm saying it was the leadership's fault, not the activity of the guild as they mentioned in the messages or anything else. You have these 3 objectives. One of the objectives was already occupied by our guild, and all we had to do is flip it with one of ours. XK had connection to get there, had the position to get there, but again it was our gate, which means we had a good opportunity to reinforce the tiles in front of it, break the tiles and clean XK away so that our support guild can flip the gate. On the other side we have another gate that needed to be flipped, but in this case it wasn't in our control, it was one of our support guilds, so it was us who had to take the gate. And then we had the third gate, which was again a crucial one, because that was where Tar, this other side of the map, would join in to crush us from both sides. So it was crucial to take that gate, because we didn't have the firepower, we didn't have the players to deal with everybody in the same spot. We were already kind of cramped down on the map, so if we would have lost both Tar and the right side, we would have lost the only safe beacon on the map where we could function. So when it comes to the markers kind of just pointed out something like this. On this gate it was reinforced all, clean the tiles at 200k. On this gate it was all plus 0, take the gate. And on the other one you had a lot of markers with clean all, shield wall, and take the gate, but nothing concrete. For example, I was actually quite busy in that time, so I did stay awake till reset to participate in that, because it got into the point where I knew it was really important what happens next. So I was finally awake for reset, and I just saw the markers, and in all honesty I didn't understand nothing from the markers. It was only later, after the entire thing went through, that I started looking at what we had and how they dealt with it. So let's look on how they should have prioritized the objectives to have a more efficient outcome. You have the gate on the right that was already occupied by us. All we had to do is make sure that XK doesn't have connection to our gate, so that the support guild can take it, which clearly means all your top hitters should be there. That's the only thing you need. You don't need stamina, you don't need a lot of tiles, you just need as strong as possible, as many as possible, that can break reinforcements, that can reinforce the gate. And by the way, it's actually quite easy. You just wait till the last few 100k, then, only then, you break any connection from XK, because till then it's actually better to let them hit it. It just helps you take the gate faster without wasting your stamina. Only then you break the reinforcements. Then you have a 5-minute window where anyway you don't need to reinforce nothing, because the tiles are immune, where the other guild can just simply take it, and that's it. If, let's say, you didn't the support guild was too slow, then this is the point. You need the top players, all of them. Like, because you're not gonna have that many, let's face it, no matter who you are, you're always gonna have top players, and the rest, even if they're good, they're not top. But the top have to be there, like only they have to be there. Then we have the other two gates left. One of them was a connection again from XK, but it wouldn't have been that crucial. And then the top side is where Tar was. If Tar would have taken that gate, they would have joined in with XK to fight us from both sides, which would have made it maybe not impossible, but extremely hard and stressful to deal with both sides of the map on one single point. So that's actually the main priority gate or objective from all three. One was obviously clear, you need the top players there, and then anything else has to be a Tar, or at least the majority of it has to be a Tar gate. That wasn't the case because the signs didn't say nothing. So you had everything split up in all three gates. Top players, whatever they were, players themselves, again, you had like an equal amount of people on all three gates. And guess what? We lost all three gates. And that meant you had XK coming from the right side, XK coming from the other side, and then Tar had access, which again we had to deal with. And this is the point that broke the leadership in our guild, and decided to surrender. Was that a point to surrender on the map, or was there still a chance to win? Now, we were under with the points. I think it was about 900 or 950 points difference between south and north, so it was pretty substantial. We're talking about 3 capitals here. But was it still a point that you want to surrender in? Strategically speaking, no. Like, definitely no. We still had access to a center area, so we could still put up a fight there and easily get access to the temple area and never lose points, never lose the access point to the temple, and therefore could continue fighting. As for the side gates, even if you prepare everything magically, it can still happen. Again, Eden is a luck game. It just happens. If they just get the last hit, they get it, and it doesn't matter what you strategize before that. So it can happen, but that's definitely not a point to surrender. You had the access. We even had more power than the north side at that point. And that, let me just specify that at the start of the Eden season, North had more power than us. And at this point where they surrendered, we had more power than them, which means they were losing much more power than we did. So it wasn't like we were so weak that they literally ran us over. No, we were more than putting up a fight. It was just the objectives, how they were managed, that we lost them. But even if we ignore the strategic part of it, if you want to blame the players, it was still not a point where you had any reason to surrender. Literally any reason. The same way we lost those gates, we can also take them the next time. The same way we had points difference, we could have smashed Tar on one side and take back capitals from them, which means they lose 300 points, then we gain 300 points, and so on. There's so many ways. And as for the temple, I don't think either side could have taken the temple if we put up the fight. The temple is something you take only if you get to dominate that entire area. If not, if the sides are actually both extremely active, there's no chance in taking the temple. So it was all a battle of capitals and level 4 towns. It was definitely winnable. Now, besides the winnable strategic part, why would you surrender? I think people, or players in this case, forget that this is a stupid game. We play it to have fun. We play it to have that action. We play it to do something outside of our day-to-day life. What do you get from surrendering? 30 days of doing nothing? There's also that part in between season where you're not doing something. If you're just gonna surrender every time somebody took your candy, then don't play this game, dude. Jesus Christ. I have to at least specify that Invictus Alliance gave up on the leadership points because they were sick of it. They were sick of this type of stupid decisions. And this surrender vote had nothing to do with us. We didn't even know they surrendered until they already surrendered. We found out the same way as everybody else, even though we were a merged guild. So, as much as I don't want to point fingers at nobody, it was Vic's leadership that did all this. It was Vic's leadership that surrendered 30 days before the season was over. Explanation: we were undermined. We don't have the true power, and that coming from the people or the person that lost all his power by smashing it on stupid things and reinforcement for absolutely no reason, just so he can say 30 days into the season that he doesn't have any power left. So from my experience, Eden is exactly like League of Legends. If you ever played League of Legends, you should know what I'm talking about. If no, then I'm still gonna explain what I mean. It's not a matter of power level, and it's not a matter of strength of who wins the Eden season, is guts. Whoever stays in the game and pushes harder will take the win every single time. Very, very few cases are about who's better. Very few. Most of the times it's just who surrenders faster. Everybody just gives up before the match is even over. And again, in Eden there's a lot of luck based. So if the enemy, for example, has a lot of luck with the objectives and they do get this objective, and the next time they get again the objectives, then the other side simply surrenders because they're frustrated, not because they don't have a chance to win, not because they couldn't come back from it. And this is this is pretty much what defines a strong guild. It's not your troop power. Don't get me wrong, your troop power, the strength of your castles obviously is an important factor. If we're talking, for example, about reinforcements, obviously it's going to be the stronger castle that breaks the reinforcement or keeps the reinforcements on a tile or on an objective. But nowadays we're not even discussing this type of things, because nowadays the castles are so strong, obviously discussing the top ones, where it's not even a matter of who's stronger, because you cannot break the other guy. Like, it's not even worth attacking a top castle from the distance in Eden anymore, because you're never gonna win. The guy just simply refreshes his troops and will always win, and you're just wasting your stamina on one single person, especially the top players having something like 600 to 800 power, million power. It's not even gonna hurt him to that extent. So it helps, but it's not the defining factor. The true power, it helps, but it's not the defining factor. 90% of every single Eden season on every single map is defined by those who have the guts for it. If you have the guts to fight till the end, to the point where your enemy gets frustrated, then you're gonna be the winner. And in this case, with this situation and this strategic position and power levels, to surrender, it just shows that you're a pussy. It's just simple as that. I cannot sugarcoat it, because it is what it is. And with that, guys, that was pretty much the roundabout of the entire Eden season. Thanks again for joining in. I hope you can get something out of it that would help you out in your next Eden season. If you have any comments, I do believe a lot of them are gonna be hate comments, but whatever, you can leave them under the video. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and of course subscribe for more, and don't forget to check out the new merch shop. But that's it from me, guys. Thanks again for checking in, and I'll see you in the next video.